Good afternoon and welcome inside the Newhouse studio at Syracuse University. Alongside Julian Wiggum, I'm Zach Staton. Later in the show, Dominique Patrick joins us. But before we get there, the Orange is flying high after 4 straight victories. Consensus top 10 recruit Darius Baisley announced he would forego his college career and instead play next season in the NBA G League. Well, essentially, Steve, they've lost their 2 best players if Tyus stays in the draft, in him and Darius Baisley, with him committing to go to the G League a couple of weeks ago. The object of the competition is to be able to take this cube and move it from one platform to another. But that's the job for the robot. Here's something you probably never thought you would hear in your lifetime. Now batting for the Rumble Ponies, Tim Tebow. That still kind of looks strange. Now UVA's football schedule includes a Friday night game at home against Pittsburgh on November 2nd, and that also happens to be the final Friday of the regular season in high school football. Well, it took 2 years for the Charlottesville Tom Sox to make their first playoff berth in the Valley League, and today, if they defeat the Harrisonburg Turks, they'll make it 2 years in a row that they've made the playoffs. With the #1 seed in the ACC tournament already locked up, the Syracuse men's lacrosse team had one final tune-up before going into tournament play. That tune-up came in the form of the Navy Midshipmen. The last time these programs faced off, the Orange won a national championship in 2004. And speaking of face-off, Danny Varello would go into the X facing off against his older brother Joe, the first time these two have faced each other in their collegiate careers. First quarter, Grayson Terrain, nifty spin move in the open field, and he nets one of his 3 goals on the day. Midshipmen take a 6-3 lead. But Stephen Rafis was handing out assists like candy on Halloween. Sets up Nate Solomon for the goal as Q scores 3 straight, and the game is knotted at 6 apiece at halftime. Bottom of the 7th inning, he sends one over the fence for a 2-run home run, and just like that, the Blue Jays are within 1 run. Bottom of the 8th inning, folks, when there's smoke, there's fire, and this one is burning hot. Smoke sends this one to center field, a grand slam, and the Blue Jays split the series. The Demon Deacons then went on a tear, 7 straight threes. Brian Crawford hitting one from the corner, and that 14-point lead shrinks to 4. Crawford trying to make it 2, and Chukwu sends that one all the way to Rochester. Tyus Battle collects the rebound and jams in the game-sealing basket. Just before the half, Nick Foles evades pressure, lobs the ball up, and he finds Alshon Jeffrey wide open. 53-yard touchdown bomb, 21-7 at the half. Comes down to one last play, something the Irish are too familiar with. It's Arike Ogunbowale again after hitting the buzzer beater against UConn. She gives the Irish their 2nd national championship in program history. 61-58 the final. Ogunbowale with 18 points and none more important than those last 3. Off the miss from Jamie McBain, it's Alexander Volkov with one of his 2 goals in the 3rd period, and his performance would be the difference maker as the Crunch survived the Ameryk's comeback attempt. Final score 6-5, and Syracuse is ahead 2-0 in the series. Bottom of the 5th, Nick Bellafronto down the 3rd base line. He gets into 2nd base with a leadoff double. Next batter is Orr. He tries to make up for that base running mistake. He chops one over the shortstop, and Bellafronto would come home to score, and the Sox lead it 1-0. That siren means it's go time for the Orange Volunteer Fire Company. The life of a volunteer firefighter isn't always easy.
I mean, I've got a regular 40-hour job. I do what I can when I'm not working, and I try to do stuff, you know, and sometimes it doesn't suit, but we still go.
They relieve that stress.
Ready, set, go.
With a little friendly competition. Each year, the Virginia State Firefighters Association holds a competition simulating firefighting action. Orange has dominated it.
The last 14 in a row we have won.
To put it in the context that other teams come by to watch us practice to get tips.
We practice really hard, and you know, we practice this hard, we expect to win. We don't like to lose.
Events in the challenge range from one-man hose to a 4-man ladder drill. But it's not just a race against time, but also a test of ability.
Pulling the ladder, putting your coat on, pulling the line, those type of things are all the bread and butter stuff that we do as a fire department anyway, so it helps with the training aspect too.
It also keeps the team tight-knit.
This actually is one of the few things that we do as a fire company that's actually fun. We actually can get away from our daily call business.
The work is hard, but they say the results are worth it.
Most of the time it's 90+ degrees out here practicing, but you know, it's good membership, good people to be with, and have some fun.
In Orange, Zach Staton, CBS 19 Sports. On what felt like the real beginning of spring, folks showed up to Ithaca Beer Company to enjoy the sunny day. But a few came for a run in the mud.
The Ithaca Beer Company came to us and asked if we wanted to help and co-host it with them.
An event that fell accidentally on Earth Day.
We were looking for dates, and this date happened to be open last year, so we themed it around Earth Day.
It's designed to make participants feel the weight of the world on their shoulders.
Some of the challenges require that you partner.
The race starts in the mud and then ends here in the murky pond, leaving a 100% chance for participants to get down and dirty. It starts with crawling, then jumping over tires into another pit of mud, and finally, wading in the water. Maybe not the most enjoyable part of the run.
They seem to be smiling.
But the support never wavers for the runners, even during an interview.
Space is, here come some of the runners. Yay!
Designed by volunteers from CrossFit of Ithaca, the course had to strike a balance for all participants at all levels.
The big thing for us is making sure that it's inclusive for everybody, but still challenging for those that want the challenge.
And they've already begun taking notes for next year's course.
As far as course layout, we're really happy with the course layout this year. I don't know if there's much we're going to change for next year as far as the layout goes.
One thing's for sure, next year's runners should really have a change of clothes ready as they head towards the finish line. Zach Staton, NCC Sports. Chris Peace led all ACC linebackers with 7.5 sacks last season. He also made one of the biggest plays of the season for the Cavaliers a year ago, sacking Brandon Harris to seal a win at UNC. Now with Quinn Blanding, Micah Kaiser, and Andrew Brown all gone from the UVA defense, the Wahoos will probably need even more of that production from the senior. Now Peace started all 12 games as a sophomore, then started every game last season. He said at ACC Kickoff that Bronco Mendenhall's aggressive play calling is a reason for his rise in individual statistics. However, the Cavaliers head coach had a different reason and some pretty high praise.
I would consider Chris Peace one of the best practice players in terms of day in and day out work that I've seen and been lucky enough to coach. And it's inspiring. I never have to wonder. He works and he works and he works.
If you look back on it, that's something I have to improve upon. I miss a whole bunch of tackles. I miss a whole bunch of sacks. That's the reason why that year I had 2 sacks. Probably missed about 10 last year. I had 7, 8, but I probably missed about 7, 8 more if you go back and look.
Sox are on the road tonight at Winchester and then on the road for the next 2 games after that. But at this point, it's just seeding that the team is playing for after clinching a second straight Valley League playoff appearance with Saturday's win over Harrisonburg. After dropping 4 of 6 2 weeks ago, the players thought they would be playing until the final games before clinching a berth. Now, the team just sits a half game out of first place in the South Division standings, entering Sunday's game. But the hard part is done, and the players say that's one goal they can check off this summer's list.
It's actually pretty impressive. I thought, we'd have to keep fighting towards the end because we had a little stretch there. We were kind of struggling a little bit, but it's nice now to kind of just coast a little bit, but still kind of work on everything we need to. Just know that we made it to the next part that we wanted to.
And that's kind of the goal when you get here. It all depends, obviously, on the other teams and how they're doing, but we're happy to have done it early to kind of have some assurance, I guess. I mean, you still want to come out and play well, obviously, but it's nice to know that even if things do go awry, we can still be in the playoffs no matter what.
More baseball, a soggy rainy day in the nation's capital, but the Braves and Nationals are able to play all 9 innings, though it took 2 hours just to start the game. 2 on for Anthony Rendon down the right field line. 1 run comes home to score. Bryce Harper gets aggressive, rounds third, and he beats the tag at home plate. 2-0, Nats leading in the 6th. 2 on and 2 out. Harper again makes the play. Hits one into right field. That'll score a run, and it's a 4-2 lead for Washington. Do you like Skittles? You'll see that tarp for a little bit more. It's another delay after 6, but we pick it back up in the 8th. Harper to dead center field, a solo shot, his 24th home run of the year, and the Nationals win it by a score of 6-2. Final round of the Open. Tiger Woods in the hunt for his first major title in a decade on 5. Woods birdies the hole and moves to 7 under, but he takes sole possession of first place. Now he finished in a tied for 6th, but it's his first major top 10 in 5 years. Jordan Spieth came into the day with the lead, but he ran into trouble on 6, missed a bogey putt, had to settle for double bogey, and finished in 9th place. Justin Rose, a beautiful approach on 18, birdied it, and he would put some pressure on the leaderboard, but he finished second to that man. Francesco Molinari, a birdie on 18, seals it. He's the first Italian to win on the PGA Tour, a major on the PGA Tour, and he finished under 8 to win the Claret Jug. That wraps it up for sports. We have one more look at your weather up next.